It's a big week in Bali, culminating in the East Asia Summit, attracting the presidents of the United States and China for the first time. But before that, ASEAN leaders hold their own summit to discuss Southeast Asia's pressing economic, strategic and diplomatic issues. Thailand's Surin Pitsuwan is ASEAN's Secretary-General. Secretary-General, very good to talk to you again.
Nice to be with you. Thank you.
The agenda of international meetings of global leaders is getting pretty crowded these days. We've got the G20, APEC, also the East Asia Summit. How does the East Asia Summit fit in or differentiate itself from these other meetings?
Well, this is a regional forum, but it's becoming, again, very important because of the new players coming in. The East Asia Summit used to have 16 participants, 10 ASEAN plus 6 of the dialogue partners. This year we have decided to also include Russia and the United States. So the agendas that used to be exclusively at the G20 or APEC on trade facilitation will inevitably be coming to the ASEAN Forum of East Asia too.
Does it mean now that you have the United States and Russia on board, as well as China, Japan, South Korea, India, that it's the responsibility of the East Asia Summit to deliver something, that it can't simply be a talking shop?
Well, certainly, if you notice, these are the countries that have been rather constant from the G20 to APEC and to Bali. Yes, the expectation is very high, but I think it's important that ASEAN will be able to provide a productive forum for exchange of ideas and how to go about managing the region, because the region has become very, very critical, very important for the global economic health. And then there are many, many global challenges that will be discussed at the East Asia Summit, and all these partners and participants will pledge their commitment to make sure that we work together in order to achieve our purposes and our goals. And these are the areas of education, finance, disaster management, the issue of technology exchange, the issue, and then I suspect there will be issues on political and security that would be important to the stability of the region, so as to be a good and conducive place for investment, for economic growth, for economic cooperation.
I'm certain that, yes, that security will be on the agenda. Do you think, by the way, that the United States will be paying so much interest in being a member of this forum, were it not for the fact that its supremacy within the region is now being challenged by China, and indeed that the ASEAN partners are so eager to have the United States in precisely for the same reason?
I think the region is wide, the region is full of potential, full of opportunities. Therefore, many partners are interested in the maintenance of peace, of stability, of prosperity in the region. Because if anything goes wrong with East Asia now, it will be most critical to the global community much more than, let's say, 10 years ago. So
to what extent then do you imagine that one of the major strategic issues, which has been the enduring problems surrounding the South China Sea, will be front and centre in discussions at this summit?
I don't think it will be front center. I think it will be one of among many issues that they will be talking about. Issue of proliferation, issue of, yes, maritime safety and security, and issue...
it is very important when you have that seaway now getting half the tonnage.
I understand, but it won't be an exclusive issue.
No.
It won't be one dominating issue as the debt issue in the Eurozone for the G20.
And what about the question of economic issues? How much of a complication is it for ASEAN, for the East Asia Summit, that President Obama is now proposing his own trade initiative for the Pacific, this is an area that ASEAN has had largely to itself over the past decade.
Yeah.
Now you have the Trans-Pacific Partnership as well. Isn't this complication and duplication?
I suspect Mr. Obama will bring the issue also to the East Asia Summit. He has already said at the G20 that we need to find a more innovative way for the new global trade agreement. He said the Doha round seems to be stalling, so we would need something different, something of an alternative to the Doha round, and he said we would address the TPP at APEC. Now that he has done so in APEC, I think inevitably he'll come here with a strong tailwind.
And you're not worried, are you, that you could get played off between the United States and China, with the Chinese wanting you to pursue your own discrete agenda up against the Americans, which they have not yet agreed to participate in the Trans-Pacific Partnership?
I think we have to be very careful not to fall into that trap. But we understand that could be one diversion from our own economic cooperation and trade cooperation that we have been working on for years. But this new idea, I think it's going to be attractive to some, but the majority will probably concentrate on our own initiatives that we have been following for the last decades.
One of the subjects that you have mentioned in the run-up to this summit is the disparity, the relative economic disparity between the various ASEAN nations, richer and poorer, smaller and larger. What do you think that ASEAN needs to do to bring a greater economic harmony?
First of all, we need to help each other. And then those new members who are coming up will need to make some adjustment internally so that they can attract foreign investment, so that they can also benefit from the dynamism of economic growth in the region. I've been saying to them, to a lot of us here, that you cannot expect a charity. I mean, profit is not a dirty word. That there will be foreign investment coming in, that when our dialogue partners are interested in participating in the infrastructure, construction and development of ASEAN, they mean inevitably the private sector of Australia, New Zealand, Japan, China would be interested in participating, meaning investing, meaning looking for profit. But adjustment will have to be made in these member states.
One final subject, one key question, one key issue that the leaders have to resolve here is who will be chair after Indonesia, after Cambodia. Do you think that Burma has done enough?
I can only relate to you the sentiment of the community, that they have acknowledged the positive development inside Myanmar since the elections last November. So all of us have been encouraged by this, and we hope that it's not going to be reversed, and we hope that more will come, and this will be conducive to the application for chairmanship of Myanmar in the year 2014.
Secretary-General, thank you very much for your time.
You're welcome, Jim. It's a pleasure.